All hell is breaking loose across the world as a result of Donald Trump's invasion of Iraq. Really, there's no location in the world that has not been impacted. You take a look at what's happening in Iraq right now. Massive clashes outside of the United States Embassy in Baghdad or in Erbil, Iraq. The United States ammunition depot was struck by Iran. It blew up. I'll show you that in a moment. You go to Cyprus, where there's a UK Air Force base right there. That was attacked. You go to Abu Dhabi, where there is a French military base. That was attacked. Now you have Lindsey Graham, Donald Trump's warmonger in chief out there, buddy with Donald Trump, saying next the United States is going to invade Cuba. Get ready, Cuba. The invasion's about to begin right there. You have Donald Trump and the State Department now blocking the billions of dollars in funding that was promised to Taiwan because Donald Trump was told by Xi Jinping that there would be no meeting of Donald Trump in China with Xi Jinping if Donald Trump gave the billions of dollars in promised aid to Taiwan. So Donald Trump has betrayed Taiwan. You look at what's happening in Karachi, in Pakistan, where pro-Ayatollah protesters attacked the U.S. Embassy in Karachi. Actually, what went down is you had American Marine security forces guarding that embassy open fire on the people in Karachi who were protesting, killing dozens of people there. You have this conflagration across the world happening. It's, and I know we're focusing a lot on what's happening in Iran and what's going on with the United States and Israel. But I mean, just look a little bit toward the east. You have Afghanistan at war with Pakistan. Pakistan declared war on Afghanistan, saying it's a colony of India. So there's a proxy war between Pakistan and India taking place right there. Let me just go through kind of data point by data point with you, show you what's going on throughout the world. So the first thing I want to do is show you what's going on in Baghdad right now, or what's going on in Iraq, where there are heavy clashes between Iraqi security forces and pro-Iran protesters right outside the green zone there. Let's play this clip right here. This next clip I'm going to show you, you will see cops firing on armed Iran-flagged Allahu Akbar militants as they try to storm the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. A lot of deaths there as well. Let's play this clip. Here's footage from earlier, as well as Tammuz Intel posts, showing that the gunfire, or showing what the gunfire looked like between the pro-Iran protesters and Iraqi security forces. You can see it right there. Right now, let's bring you to Karachi in Pakistan right here, where you'll see at the consulate, it's the consulate in Karachi, the United States consulate, as the pro-Iran protesters try to get in. The United States Marine Security Guard detachment, the Marines open fire, killing dozens of people there. Let's show you what went down. Here's another angle of it as well. I'll show you this as well. You can hear the gunshots as the Marines open fire. Let's play it. Now you can see over here what it looked like in Beirut. Massive Israeli strikes right there. Beirut within Lebanon, because Hezbollah is now joining Iran in the war. Also, the Houthis in Yemen are joining the war. And with Iran and with Hezbollah and with the Houthis, they are working to try to shut down the Strait of Hormuz in order to squeeze the oil supply, liquefied natural gas and crude. 20 to 25% of the liquefied natural gas and crude coming from has to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. They're trying to stop that. Most shipping companies are not engaging in the risk of trying to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. You can see over here, as OSINT Defender says, panic is spreading across southern Lebanon as residents, many who have only returned to their towns and villages within the last year, once again are fleeing from their homes due to evacuation orders issued by Israel due to the potential of a looming full-scale renewed conflict with Hezbollah, which we've seen. And you can see in this next video, Israel launching strikes on multiple Hezbollah targets across Lebanon, including in the capital of Beirut, hitting some of the high-rise buildings there. And those buildings came crashing down last night as well. We'll take you to Athens, Greece, where there were thousands who joined an anti-war protest outside of the U.S. Embassy in Athens. These protests were peaceful, but let me show you what went down. Play this clip. Let's pull up the video of the Chinese army, of the CCP army right here. Xi Jinping outmaneuvering Donald Trump quite easily. Donald Trump is so thirsty, so desperate for a meeting with Xi Jinping in China, which Xi Jinping's already given to a lot of other foreign leaders, that Xi Jinping said as a precondition to Donald Trump, quote, the U.S. must handle arms sales to Taiwan with extreme caution, that this is the most important issue in China-U.S. relations, and China will never allow Taiwan to be separated. From China. And Xi Jinping told Donald Trump, if you want to meet me in April and you want to have a state visit here, you're going to have to not give Taiwan the $13 billion you promised them. And on the MeidasTouch network, we previously predicted there was zero chance that Donald Trump was going to give Taiwan the $13 billion. By the way, it was an easy prediction because last year when Xi Jinping called Donald Trump and said, hey, do not let the president of Taiwan fly over U.S. airspace en route to South America or Central America, Donald Trump refused to even let the president of Taiwan fly over the United States. So I'm like, that was a test by Xi Jinping to Donald Trump of, can I boss you around? And if Donald Trump was not going to let the president of Taiwan fly over U.S. airspace, they're not going to give him $13 billion in aid. So for all of the Republicans who are like, yeah, but Donald Trump's strong on China, he's giving Taiwan billions of dollars in aid. No, he's not. Donald Trump, and I've said this before, has agreed with Putin and with Xi that they are going to split the world up into three. That was the plan. U.S., Western Hemisphere, Russia gets Europe, China gets Asia, and then the Middle East and Africa just get carved up, and then imperialist wars happen over there, and then it's a free-for-all. That was basically the agreement that was made. Rubio's referred to this as the New World Order, a multipolar world order where the United States is not the leader of the free world. That's what we're seeing. New York Times reported yesterday that the Trump administration, they've confirmed what we predicted. The Trump administration has delayed arms sales to Taiwan, valued at $13 billion that had been approved by lawmakers. U.S. officials say Trump wants to ensure a smooth summit in April with Xi. The U.S. war in Iran will also cut into military resources for Asia. So in addition to the fact that Donald Trump is going to listen to Xi Jinping, the United States is running out of munitions right now, which also poses grave risk for our ability to even protect Taiwan or to do anything in Asia at all should China pursue its ambitions in that region. We are running out of our stockpile of munitions right now. One of the things that Donald Trump's top generals and admirals warned is that if we went to war with Iran the way Donald Trump wanted, we can, which he did, we can expend all of our resources very quickly, whether it's using our air defense systems, whether it's using our ballistic missiles. The Gerald Ford has been on a mission now for a very long period of time. It's going to be probably, when all said and done, approaching 300 days, maybe even as long as a year. Morale is low there.
Are you looking for something simple and delicious to add to your wellness routine, especially during the winter months when everyone's trying to stay healthy? I definitely find myself reaching for Manakora more this time of year. Colder weather, more time indoors, travel, and just wanting something supportive and natural in my daily routine, it all adds up. Manakora honey is rich, creamy, and the most delicious honey you have ever had, and that's not an exaggeration. The texture is unbelievably smooth, and the flavor has this deep, complex richness that regular honey just does not come close to. Once I switched, I never went back to regular honey or other sweeteners, especially in winter. Manakora is ethically produced by their master beekeepers in the remote forests of New Zealand. Their bees gather nectar from the manuka tea tree, which is packed with powerful bioactives. That's what gives this honey 3 times more antioxidants and prebiotics than regular honey, helping support your cells and your gut, where most of your immune system actually lives. And in winter, when you're dealing with colder weather, busy schedules, travel, and everything going around, those nutrients are especially helpful. Manuka honey also naturally contains MgO, a rare antibacterial compound that sets it apart from all other honeys. One of my favorite ways to have Manakora is straight off the spoon first thing in the morning. You let that creamy texture melt in your mouth and coat your throat. It's honestly become a ritual I look forward to. You could also add it to tea, yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies if that's more your thing. And I'll also share my secret recipe quickly. Hot water, Manakora honey, lemon. That's it. Trust me. Start your day with that. You are good to go. It's a game changer, and all you need is 1 heaped teaspoon each morning to get the most out of the amazing bioactives in Manuka. And using it throughout the day is totally fine too. It's a great way to cut out other sweeteners. Now it's easier than ever to try Manakora honey. Head to manakora.com/Meidas to save up to 31% plus $25 worth of free gifts with the starter kit, which comes with an MgO 850 plus Manuka honey jar, 5 honey travel sticks, a wooden spoon, and a guidebook. That's manakora.com/Meidas to save 31% plus $25 worth of free gifts. manakora.com/Meidas.
One telling sign as well of America's fractured relationship with allies too. There was this whole report, I'm not sure if you caught it, where people were like, the French aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, it's going to come to the Middle East to help the United States. And that was being spread. And then France had to come out with a statement saying, Charles de Gaulle ain't coming to help the United States. And France and other European countries, they used language that was very weak in terms of saying their support. They're like, we'll help the United States defensively. And obviously, if Iran goes after our bases, we're going to have to respond in turn. It was really a message that they wanted to send Iran. And I think what happened behind the scenes was that the French diplomats spoke with the Iranian diplomats. They got a deal that no more attacks on France. And then once they got that confirmation, because the Abu Dhabi base was struck by Iran, once they got that confirmation, France agreed, I think, behind the scenes with Iran, we're not going to send our aircraft carrier, Charles de Gaulle, to help the United States. Because it was a very interesting sequence of events, and I'm fairly confident that's what is happening. Like, it should be noted as well that while Donald Trump is cozying up to Xi Jinping, Xi Jinping and his foreign ministers have been the biggest critics of Donald Trump's invasion of Iran. Xi Jinping and Russia obviously now moving closer together as well, and they are allied with Iran. And so you had China's top foreign ministers strongly condemning the United States, calling for a halt in the military actions. Beijing's foreign ministry said this is a serious violation of Iran's sovereignty, trampling on the aims and principles of the United Nations Charter. China firmly opposes and strongly condemns the United States. We demand they immediately halt military operations. And that was done as well after a phone call between Beijing's top diplomat Wang Yi and Russia's counterpart Sergei Lavrov. And they're like mocking the United States. And Donald Trump's response after being mocked by China and Russia, who are supporting Iran, and Iran is giving its Shahid drones over to Russia to kill Ukrainians, Donald Trump cozies up to Putin and he doesn't help Taiwan. And of course, remember what went down last week where there was a UN vote on lasting peace in Ukraine and the United States abstained. Even Donald Trump's former top general ambassador Keith Kellogg, who was out there, diplomat, who was out there to be the envoy to Ukraine. He was first supposed to be the envoy to Russia and Ukraine. Keith Kellogg makes a social media post attacking the Trump regime's foreign policy. Here's what Keith Kellogg writes. A UN vote on lasting peace in Ukraine and we abstain? The Russian Federation was against the proclamation. Is not 4 years of war enough? Is not missing children, shelling of cities, and the killing of innocents enough? It is not a business deal. It is a war. That's Donald Trump's own envoy to Ukraine saying that, a criticized former envoy to Ukraine. All of this is taking place. Kim Jong-un declared North Korea's nuclear status permanent and irreversible during a major party Congress parade and vowed to continue upgrading the country's nuclear force and prepare for confrontation with the United States, CBS reports. At the same time, he signaled conditional openness to dialogue, saying there would be no reason not to maintain good relations as long as the U.S. recognizes that North Korea is a nuclear power and withdraws what he called its hostile policy. He's taunting Donald Trump to his face, and frankly, there's nothing that Donald Trump can do about it at this point. Then you have Lindsey Graham calling for war in Cuba. And by all accounts, this is what Donald Trump wants to do. One administration official told The Atlantic, the president feels like I'm on a roll. Look at what we did in Venezuela. Look at what we've done in Iran. I want Cuba next. And Lindsey Graham was on TV saying that as well. Here, play this clip.
Is President Trump finished the job that President Reagan failed to do? I am a big admirer of Ronald Reagan, but I'm here to tell you that Donald Trump, in my opinion, is the gold standard for Republicans, maybe any president, and when it comes to foreign policy. Maduro, everybody talked about him. Well, Donald Trump's got him in jail. Cuba's next. They're going to fall. This communist dictatorship in Cuba, their days are numbered. The Iranian regime, the mothership of international terrorism, is about to collapse. The captain of the ship, the Ayatollah, is stone cold dead.
And then finally, I'll show you this video right here as clashes erupted between Shiite protesters and Bahraini security forces after pro-Iranian protests surfaced there. Let's play this clip as well. Now, with all of this taking place, Donald Trump is saying that he expects that there will be a lot more deaths of American soldiers, but it is what it is. Donald Trump says that. Is what it is, Donald Trump says, when it comes to, American soldiers dying. That's what happens in wars. That people die, Donald Trump says. Expect a lot more deaths. Donald Trump said that one of the reasons he went after the Ayatollah is he said, the Ayatollah tried to kill me, so I got him first, Donald Trump says. And then he also said that, he thinks that it'll just be just like Venezuela. He's just trying to use the Venezuela template on Iran, and that he's going to just try to put somebody in place in Iran who is still part of the Islamic Republic, but is a little bit nicer to Donald. That's what Trump's hoping to achieve after all of this, is to, after lives and treasury lost, to prop up somebody else from the Islamic Republic, is what Trump said. So someone still from the regime, another Ayatollah, is what he's telling the media as well. So we covered a lot there, giving you the geopolitical. I'll give you the quick update on Ukraine. I should always talk about Ukraine on these videos. You know, I dedicate full videos to Ukraine, though, to Ukraine as well. So Zelensky's been making some incredible moves. I think as he sees that Donald Trump is, you know, now focused on Iran, and Donald Trump's dealing with his stuff. Zelensky struck with inside Russia, and it was a very powerful strike over at the Novorossiysk port and oil terminal in Russia. And that was a big move. You know, that was kind of unprecedented in the war so far. And so I think Zelensky's just showing strength. He's going to go after Russia to protect Ukraine, while Donald Trump is, you know, distracted on this. And of course, Donald Trump showing his colors anyway, which is, look what he's doing with Taiwan. And of course, Donald Trump's already shut down weapons to Ukraine. So Ukraine's like, all right, it's on. We're going to defend ourselves. But I don't know how we look at this and not reflect that, like, the war, we don't have to call this World War III. We don't have to say that, but the world everywhere is at a war, is in a war right now. Like, we all agree that almost everywhere in the world there is war. Now, whether you call that a world war or not, I'm just letting you know. I gave you all these data points. Like, a lot of the world is in a war right now, one way or another. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks so much for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.